Go ahead, you're live.
So we're going to call the meeting to order. Jan, will you start us out with a prayer?
And to make this world a better place for everyone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Who's going to be our timekeeper tonight?
I'll be the timekeeper.
Yay! And I don't know if everyone saw it today. We have a revised agenda.
Oh no, I
I didn't see it.
I don't know if we want to post that live though, Sarah, because it has the executive session topics.
We can post everything except the executive session topics.
Where is this?
It's in Google Docs in the Drive.
Also, so everyone knows the way this works on Facebook Live, whoever's talking is the main screen, and then everyone else's face is at the bottom. So if you're not talking, if you can mute, so that we don't have like excess noise and your face is there while someone else is talking. Do you want me to post that in the chat?
If you can post it without putting that would be good. Then everyone will know.
Jan's disappeared. And we don't even know if Cheryl's here, but all right.
I'm still here.
So you need to consent to the agenda? Is that where you are? And
Yes, I was just waiting for Jan to get back.
Okay.
So I need a motion to consent to the agenda.
I so move.
Second,
Second from Cheryl.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Pardon me? Motion passed. Now we need to have a motion to approve the minutes for September 9th.
I so move.
Second,
Oh, I second it.
I can't unmute fast enough.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Amy, the next is a 10-minute discussion. And we're going to discuss how the budget will be done for 2021. So Sarah and I talked about it, and we figured as a team we should do it as a leadership team instead of having all individuals. Is that where we're still standing, Sarah? So what we would do is look at last year's budget, read that, and then discuss if we want to do the same or if we want to budget less or more for certain items. So that would be something that we would send out to everyone before the next meeting. So that we can get that to finance, so that we can discuss it at the next meeting.
So do we think everyone should be doing their like individual? So everyone's got an area they're assigned. Like everyone should be doing those areas. I don't think we like didn't talk in specifics how we're going to do this. I just thought we thought it made more sense to have us do it in reflection of like what we're going to be doing next year versus like trying to go out to team leaders and be like, hey, what do you think?
Oh, so like you would prefer, you want me to do like outreach?
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking. I mean I don't know. This is open for discussion. I think that might be the best way. What do others think? Like, Sue does outreach. I'll do worship. Amy, you do fundraising. Jen does fellowship. My Jen does fellowship. Sue does fellowship. Cheryl does ACE.
I'll do congregation for 2.
Yeah, and then I don't know what we're gonna do for buildings and grounds. That's you got me right now.
That's fine with me. That would probably work best.
What about, does there have to be, somebody working on Journey?
I mean, at this point, I don't. We could look at a journey budget for September of next year if if the pandemic has moved to a different position. But I don't really know at this point that there's anything to go into a journey budget.
Yeah,
So Sarah, you said you were going to work on what?
Worship.
Okay.
All right, and Sue and I can then do like office stuff, like worship, office stuff.
Is that all right with everyone?
So
yes,
is each person going to work on their own and then you're going to come together and discuss as a team?
How we did it last time was we submitted them all and then reviewed them. I believe, is that correct, Sarah?
Usually,
Like
what happens?
email.
Usually what happens is that the individual team leaders submit their budgets to finance, and then finance puts the budget together and then submits it to leadership team, and the leadership team approves it to go on to be voted. Leadership team then sets the vote for that budget to be voted on. Right, and so what we're saying here is that leadership team is going to do instead of the meeting team leaders, leadership team will do the budget, send it to finance, and then finance can do what it does with it, and then it will bring it back to us, and then we would set the vote for the congregation.
And when do we want to have that done by?
They
Finance was
probably,
asking for a vote. Right? Sorry, Jan, go ahead.
I said they probably want it from finance as soon as possible.
And finance was asking for a meeting from us. They wanted a meeting tonight from the leadership team. That we said, well, we're meeting tonight, so we can't have that meeting. I know that they probably want that sometime like next week or early the following.
How about, could everyone have it ready by Monday, November 9th?
yes, for, from Cheryl, yeah.
Okay, are we going to get a copy of this year's budget and then, just And then we're going to figure out if we're going to need more or less for next year. That's
Yeah, so
That-
John had
that's
said
kind of
that John was waiting on credit cards to be reconciled, that we're reconciled, that like just there was an email issue. Like everything got done and it got sent to Sue, and then Sue sent it, and then it got lost in the email shuffle. So John was waiting on that. I'm pretty sure he's gotten that. He hasn't come back and said he hasn't.
No, he did. He contacted me and said he got it.
Great. So John got that. So now he's going to be putting together all of the numbers. Again, they said they were going to have them tonight, but you know, grace abounds. So I think that we should have those numbers, and we can ask them for those numbers by mid next week.
Is that like last year, Sarah, when we had those spreadsheets he gave us with all of the different accounts in?
Yeah, I mean, if you need it in we can ask him how we want it. Like, if you'd like him to do it like by individual area without all the lines, just to say like, here's what Ace did, here's how much Ace spent. I don't know,
Okay,
right? Like, we can ask him for that, so it's easier. Like, John's really amenable that way. So whatever like we need from him, you know, we can just tell him. He doesn't know exactly what we need from him. I think that's where the confusion gets with John.
think that having each individual group separately instead of the big spreadsheet would probably be easier if you can do that for us.
Okay, John told me that he does not check his emails, sometimes not even weekly. So I could give him a call. Well, he has a new number. He sent us all an email today regarding endowment numbers with his new phone number. So I can text him and tell him I'm sending him an email requesting this so that he'll look. And then if he doesn't look, I see him at Bell Choir, so I'll get him again.
okay. Will we know
Also-
how, will we know how much money is available?
Well, I think at some point we're gonna have to have the conversation about like, what are we gonna spend next year? Like, this is how much money we've taken out of the endowment. This is what the endowment looks like. You know, spending again another year of this. What does this look like? I mean, there are some difficult conversations ahead that we're gonna have to have about staff and spending and building. In light of a lot of different things, one being there's no buildings and grounds team anymore. So I think that those are conversations that leadership's going to probably have to have in November, December, and then from there we'll figure that out. But I think you should go with whatever budget you think you need to be able to do the things you think you need to do, and then we can pare down from there, just like we did last year.
Okay,
But our big ticket items are not outreach and ACE, and you know, our big ticket items is building and personnel, right? We know that that's 3/4 of our budget, and so that's really like those conversations have to happen.
do you think that's why the finance wants to meet with us?
I think, from my understanding, the finance wants to meet with us in order to figure out exactly what we're doing with the budget this year, right? And
Yeah,
so we already, like, you know, Sue and I already had that conversation about this meeting. So we knew we were going to be talking about that, which is why we said to them, like, we'll make a decision and then we'll get back to you on it. But I don't think that they were talking about numbers specifically about what we're doing. I think they were talking about procedure.
okay.
Any other questions regarding this at this time? Or are we good to move on? Okay, Sarah, on this next issue, you did not put down a time, so I don't know how much time you want on it.
10, sorry.
10 minutes? Amy got it?
I think the first the first part could be Bells. So Bells is practicing in the sanctuary for 45 minutes. And like I said in my note to Sue, like this can't happen. We just don't have the filtration systems in the sanctuary for us to be holding bell rehearsal in there, regardless of how far apart they are. Right. And there was a whole new release from the CDC talking about masks and effectiveness and HVACs, and like we'll talk all about that later on in the conversation here, and we'll talk about the town hall discussion. But really, we can't have bells practicing in the sanctuary. Like they can play in the sanctuary on the day that we do it to tape them, because they'll be there for less than 20 minutes, and so they'll be safe. But 45 minutes is too long. And so I had mentioned to Matt about like just moving the filtration systems from upstairs to downstairs, and then having them practice in the music room. And so I was just wondering if there was, I think it's about $800 for us to buy another set of filtration systems for the music room. Then he would have to lock them away every night too, because that door can't, that area can't be secured because we've just got folks in there from outside groups. So that was my.
Well, he would be able to lock them in that closet right off the
Galaxy's closet.
Correct.
Yeah. So so that's what I'm looking for first, is that bells. I'm gonna have to get Matt to move bells down into the music room. And can we afford to just get another set of filtration systems for that music room, or should I just advise him to load them up on the cart and move them back and forth?
Sarah, how long are those filtration systems good for?
They're good for 2,500 hours. If I remember correctly, I have to look, but it's like 9 months if you run them. Whatever 9 months is if you run them continuous.
I would
think
say
we should
just move them down from upstairs.
Anybody using the cafe right now that they're even being used right at the moment?
Wings is, and they'll be using it on Sunday morning.
I'm sorry, Wings and who?
We'll be using it on Sunday morning.
Oh, okay. I think for right now, just to put it, to take them from upstairs and go downstairs is my opinion.
So the other thing, I didn't post this over. Let me pull it over. I worked on this today. Is we need to get a vote on policy about, because we just made this informal policy when we never had a vote on it. I looked back in the minutes, around what our plan is for building use and what the requirements are for people for building use. So this is what I have right here. So everyone in the building must wear a mask at all times. Everyone must sign in on a clipboard when entering the building. Air filtration systems must be used. And then I'm setting there, please set the timer for them to turn off. The filters are very expensive, and so turning them off elongates their use. Their use is based on the number of hours the filters are running. Open the windows if you can. I mean, I know it's going to get cold, but they're saying that the more air we can get in and out of the building, the safer we are. Maintaining at minimum 6 feet. The CDC is not coming out and saying like after 20 minutes with masks, you need to be further than 6 feet apart, but 6 feet minimum. Temperatures are taken upon arrival. If anyone has an elevated temperature, they must return home. And if you experience any COVID symptoms, stay home. So cough, sore throat, exhaustion, nausea, diarrhea, or a temperature. Any events happening in the building that are outside of rooms with filtration, so the sanctuary and the fellowship hall, that the event can't be any longer than 20 minutes. And if it is, that we will use N95 masks for the participants. And when you use the bathroom, please lower the lid before you flush. I don't know if anything else has to be added. And if this is agreeable for a policy.
Sarah, do we have N95 masks available to have people?
Yes. There's been a lot of because I've been so on top of the literature and the science, when there's been movement towards hey, we should get these things before there's been price spikes, I've been able to procure this stuff, right? So we've got a case of N95s at Sue's house. Yeah, we were able to, we've got cleaning supplies that we were able to get before the pandemic started because I saw this coming. Yeah, so we have that stuff. Like I said, I bought a heater outside of 60,000 BTU heater out of Pastor's Fund for outside in case we have to move stuff outside, at least so people can be warm, so we can have options to do events outside outreach wise. And again, I did that before the price spike happened on those things. So I'm trying to think forward think on a lot of this stuff so that we can get that. But yeah, we do have N95s.
So Sarah, how would we enforce this policy if we make it policy?
Well, I think it would be group leaders, right? So Matt would be responsible for bells, whoever's in the sanctuary, whoever's in the cafe on Sunday morning for worship would be responsible for folks there. I think Wings is using our, this is just for our folks. We can't enforce it we've already have people are signing waivers and all that stuff for outside groups. So they do what they do. But this is for our folks, right? And so Jan would be responsible for making sure her folks are doing that. But when Wings met, they already followed all these because we already talked about this. We just hadn't enacted the policy yet. I don't know what you're asking for. Are we going to kick people out of the building, or are we going to hang them up on the?
I was unclear that it was just for us and not for everyone. So I'm just clarifying.
No, we've already told outside groups that if they come in the building, they have to be masked. They have to use downstairs bathrooms, and we're going to spot check, and if someone comes in and spot checks and they're not masked, they're done. There's no warning, you're done. With the exception of Heritage, because they have folks who some of them can't mask. And we've made everyone who's using the building aware that, look, there are folks in the building who aren't masked because our ministry is to them.
So do I have a motion to make that section into a policy for the present COVID crisis that we're dealing with? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who did the motion?
I did, Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Poor Amy's been trying to second motions the whole night. No, I did that one.
Sorry, Amy, your name's not going in the minute.
Okay, Cheryl, did you say all in favor?
All in favor?
Are you in favor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Any opposed? Motion carried to make this a policy.
So the last thing is that Sunday mornings, the last Sunday was our last Sunday outside. I mean, if we're looking at the weather, it seems to be like we could be outside. I know that we're all available to be outside to do that if you think folks are going to show up.
I'm having a lot of difficulty hearing you, Sarah. I don't know if anyone else is.
It should be better now, Sue. I muted some people.
There's a lot of feedback.
Okay.
So if the availability for us to go back outside happens, like if it's a nice Sunday and we can predict that earlier on in the week, we'll try to do that. But as of right now, we've moved back to completely inside. It's going to take a week to kind of fix that. We're working with Sunspin to get a new professional looking format for
Time's up.
I have like that.
Okay, I make a motion to use 10 minutes more if needed that we did not use for the devotion. Everyone's on mute. You have to unmute yourself. Okay.
That's good.
Angie, second.
I have it.
Uh-oh, Jan.
Listen, I didn't do it this time.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Great.
Motion carried.
So, but as of right now, we're going to be totally online starting this Sunday. It'll be a different format service this Sunday, but the following Sunday we'll be back to our regular format, hopefully looking more professional than we had been prior to this. Hope beyond all hope. I guess I don't know how to move forward here. How you want to move forward? Sue Mahalik and I have talked about this. Like, should we do reservation or no reservation? Should we do reservation, and if no one's reserved, then no one goes to turn the live stream on at the church, or should we do first come first serve? So these are just we have 15 seats open in the cafe that folks can come in and watch the service, which will be on YouTube. It'll be really easy. You just have to load the Fire Stick up, go to YouTube. It'll be right there. You hit play, you just tune in, and then when the service gets automatically updated on YouTube, then it'll just start. Right. So it'll just be like at home, but it'll be on the TV in the cafe.
I would say that it should be reservations, because I would hate to have someone come to the church and have to turn them away, is my opinion.
So, but if someone
Like
doesn't, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I like the idea of the reservations because if there's a week that, nobody signs up, conversely, I wouldn't want to go there and be sitting there kind of like with Sunday school. You go in and you're sitting there by yourself.
Yeah, and so I guess that was the question too, especially because there's gonna if you can see in here, my ask is that between LT and the staff that we cover the starting of this, so that folks can go out of town, because right now everywhere in the United States is on the list. If you leave to go out of town, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. And so I don't want to have to say to the staff, like, well, sorry, you can't. You have to hit this narrow window. Plus, I agree with you though, Amy. Like that, it should be that if we don't have anyone signed up, we're not opening the church for it, because that just seems like a not a good use of our resources. What do others think? Jan, did we lose you forever?
No, I can't find. I tried to unmute and I ended up losing my picture. I don't know what to do.
Well, we can hear you, Jan.
Okay.
So would you open the church if it was just one person that made a reservation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think? What do folks think?
I think if one person wants to come watch it, we should open it.
I agree, because there's going to have to be obviously someone's going to have to go and be there to open and close, and
Though on the same path, if that person has internet, and we know they do, if it's only one person, I would speak with them and ask them if since there's only one, would you be willing to watch at home?
Oh yeah, if they had internet, yeah.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that like we said before, the priority is for folks that don't have internet to be able to come and watch the service. But this isn't, we're not saying this is a place for you to come and gather on Sunday morning. Like, this is not in place of worship service. Like, if you want to worship, we're asking you to worship at home. But if other people are there who don't have internet, then we're not going to tell anyone they can't come.
Right. Jan, how do you feel?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
So reservations.
So reservations, priority first given to folks without internet, and if the only people who have signed up are folks with internet, then we're going to say, hey, we're not doing it this week.
Right.
Now, when we notify people, that there should probably then be a note that says, this is for people who do not have internet available.
That's probably a good idea.
Well, is it just for that, or is it just that we're giving priority to people that don't have internet?
Well, it's like Sarah said, we don't want to have if people have internet, it could end up, we'd have a socializing group in there.
Okay, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Only because we do have a couple of people that are saying to open the church, and this is the reason that they want the church open, because they want the socialization. So is that necessarily a bad thing to have 15 people together that have internet?
No, I don't know.
I don't know what the answer is here either.
I was saying if we have one or two people and
No, I
they have
agree with
internet. Okay.
I agree with that. Yeah. If there's just one or two people, but if we have a whole group that we know have internet, but they still want to come, are we really going to send those people away? That's kind of counterproductive for us.
Yeah.
I don't think if we have more than like 2 or 3 people, then I think we could open it up as long as the non-internet people got it first. But it also requires that, like Sarah was saying, between staff and us LT members, it would mean someone going in on those Sundays and setting it up for them to view from church, and then you would be at the church watching it with them.
But honestly, like, if we end up having a group of folks who are like, no, this is what we want to be in church on Sunday morning, like, there would be no reason for us to not empower one of them to be like, okay, here's how you turn this on, here's how you open the church, here's how you turn this on, here's how you turn this on. Here's what our rules are, right? And then let whoever is the leader of that group do that. Like, I would have no problem with that if that's what it ended up being, which is what I'm hearing Amy say. Like, no, if there are folks who want to get together, who want to do this, then that's fine. Like, they just have to follow the rules. They can't take their masks off. There's no coffee hour afterwards, right? Like, I don't think we have to be in there monitoring them in any sort of way. If you were muted. So what I'm hearing as for policy position is that we'll open the church on Sunday morning. We'll start off having it be staff and LT like doing 1 week for a couple of months, and see what happens with that. Because there may be no takers on it too, and it might just be like, well, this doesn't make any sense for us to continue to do this.
But I agree with the reservations, because that way we know ahead of time if someone needs to even bother going to the church.
Okay, so what we're going to say, the policy is reservations, priority given to folks who don't have internet, and we're not going to open the church if there's no one who's reserved it. So you can't just show up on Sunday morning if no one's reserved.
Are you going to be specific and say that the cafe will be where church will be, where you will be, or you're limited to the cafe, the sanctuary is
Correct.
not available?
Correct. And we in the stuff we've sent out, the letters we've sent out up until this point, I think we've been pretty clear about that, right, Sue? That it's the cafe and not the sanctuary.
Yes.
I don't know that we've really sent much out.
We've sent out 2 letters, and the second letter we sent out, we said, like, no, we're going to open this up, but we'll open up the cafe for you, not the sanctuary. Right? I mean, I can't remember.
We,
if we did
we,
that.
we did say cafe. We did not say sanctuary.
I thought, yeah. So in that letter, we talked about HVAC systems being astronomically expensive to make it safe for us to use the sanctuary.
Okay.
Okay, so I just need some sort of vote on that. I was trying so hard.
Okay, let's just do the votes. Motion to make this a policy that it will be reservations only. First, accommodations will be given to those with no internet. For the first couple months, we will have someone, staff or LT, setting it up for the people that come in.
Mhm.
Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Second?
And I second.
Hey, Amy.
Yay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion for the policy carried. Okay, so next is fundraising. 10 minutes.
That's you and Amy. I have to pee.
Amy, do you have any ideas for fundraising?
So, from the looks of it, the online meat raffles are actually from the people that I've talked to about them, they have nothing but good things to say about them. So I have to actually speak to somebody that has actually run one, or an organization that's actually had one, to see what kind of turnout they've got from it. But from the perspective of people that have gone to them, they speak very highly of them. So
I've went to one, and it was the first one. The only thing, like I said, that I see that could be hard, but I know we have someone within this group that knows how to do spreadsheets very well. Hint, hint. That looks like one of the major problems. By any chance, Amy, do you know anyone at Cardinal O'Hara?
No.
Because they're on their second one now, and that's one I went to. It also is.
Sue, when you say you went to it, did you go to it online?
Yes.
Okay, I just was wondering.
So fun for meat raffle is an idea. You had mentioned something about football squares or some tickets like the SPCA. I can't remember exactly.
Oh yeah, like just regular raffle tickets. But that would be, we'd have to find people for prizes and whatnot, or we'd have to, acquire prizes of some sort. And what I think it was 10 Lives Club, for the cat cats, whatever. So anyway, they sent out just mailers with 5 tickets in it, 5 raffle tickets. You fill them out, you send back your $25, and then there's there's a scheduled drawing like 2 months later, and then
One thing I can say, if that's something that you might do, at the Goodness Project, where we get a lot of our supplies for our blessing box, they sell all different kinds of electronics and stuff at very discounted prices. We may be able to find something there.
okay.
So meat raffle and raffle tickets. So if you could look into starting something with those and let us know.
Okay, so now if we did the raffle ticket thing, would we send it to like everybody in the area, not just church members?
We have a list of everyone that's on the voter registration in Erie County, so like we could go that extreme with you. I mean, it's sense of being like, how much money do we want to spend on printing these things?
Well, there's the printing and postage. Or we don't have to. Are we considered nonprofit, so we don't have postage? Or
We
is
have a
that-
post. Go ahead, Sue. You talk all about. Sue knows all about this. It's like her favorite thing to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I love to talk about the post office.
Tell
So
us.
we have a permit number. So, there's bulk mailing, and then there's just permit. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a discounted rate.
Okay. So my question then would be, do we send a postage paid envelope with that, or would we just send the envelope and have them send it back to us, have them pay for the postage?
I would say my personal opinion is just send the raffle tickets, because if people aren't gonna respond, that would be a waste of funds on our part to send a postage paid.
Also,
Wait, if you send a postage paid, we're not charged unless they actually mail it.
Oh, okay.
So
Then I
you would
changed my opinion.
you would you would have to pay for the envelope, and
Yeah.
that would be the cost there. And then whoever did send it.
I still think that we would get more people actually sending them back if they do get a postage paid envelope.
Well, like I said, I changed my mind knowing that we
Yeah.
don't pay.
Right.
is there the ability for folks to do pay for it online? Because we have our online thing.
Is
Or
this,
is
is this legal?
Yes, Cheryl.
I mean, you can do raffle tickets by mail and that's okay?
It must be legal because the
There's another
consumer
organization doing it.
Oh, okay.
I don't
And
know how we would do it with with just paying.
I think it would have to probably be a check or money order or cash, because it would have to come with their tickets. Unless I'm misunderstanding.
They send their credit card number in with their tickets, or we go to a website and they do it
Oh,
there.
I would never respond if somebody, even something like that, asked me for my credit card number.
Okay.
For me, that would be a turnoff. It's, oh yeah.
So we could also say though that here, go to our website, right? And I can make a link on the website that says raffle tickets, and they can click on that website, and then we can have it be like they can just print out their receipt or some sort of number that I can attach to it. Doesn't matter, like there's a way to do this if you want to, but we don't have to. What are we saying that sales of these ticket prices are?
Well, the tickets that I had received were $5 a piece. So they sent you 5 tickets and you sent back whatever you wanted. You know, but we could do them for $5 a piece and just send 4, and the likelihood of somebody sending us $20 is probably better than somebody sending us 25.
Agreed.
You know.
Excuse me, I have to run to the restroom.
But Sarah, I do like the idea of, hi Ducky. I like the idea of being able to do it online. You know, because that would probably intrigue some people.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm if you're sending me tickets in the mail asking me for money, I don't have a checkbook, and I'm not going to the store to get you a money order.
Right.
So there's opposite ends of the spectrum there. Shows like I'm not sending my credit card information, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm protected. So I can work on that, Amy, if we're talking about that.
So yeah, we just, you know, we'll get some tickets printed up or whatever, however we have to do that, and we'll just use different numbers. You know, use 1 through 500, or however they're numbered, 1 through 500 mailed out, and then 500 to 1,000 would be the online ones.
Yeah, and there can be like that could be as easy as you have to put your name and stuff in the email, right? So, or when you pay for your with a credit card, so you would just have to put in the memo line like what ticket numbers you had.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think that would be difficult to do, and we can add a line onto that, not with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, so those are the 3. I heard 3. Those are the 3. I mean, that's a lot. I heard meat raffle. I heard something else. Did I only hear 2?
I was gonna say, what else did you hear?
I don't know.
But the other thing, but now it's kind of a little late. The like the Chevettas barbecues and all that. They're all over the place now. But I know it's probably too late for that. But
they got killed this summer.
Come springtime, that might be an option.
Yeah. They lost a lot of money this summer. My dad was talking to one of the guys who's been doing one of the tops here on Maple and Sweet Home, Maple and Eggert. I don't know what his name is. Eggert. And he said that he's in that parking lot because he just isn't generating any money from anybody because no one did it this summer. So we might be able to do something like that in December. Like I don't know. Like do people come out for chicken barbecue in December?
Mostly just drive through now anyway. So right. It's not like you're going to be standing there hanging out. The people barbecuing, they're standing next to a darn grill. So it's not horrible depending on what the weather is like at that particular day.
Right.
You're just taking your chances with that. I don't want somebody standing out there barbecuing chicken in a blizzard.
So do you think you can put together like a plan for us for next meeting of like, this is when we would do it so that we can kind of like walk it backwards and figure out how we can get that done for whatever plan you want, whether it's meat raffle or tickets or chicken barbecue or 1 or 2 or 3 of those.
Okay. All right.
Ha! Perfect.
Perfect timing.
Okay. The next is another 10-minute. And this will be done by Sue.
He was like, wait, I'm on the agenda.
Thanksgiving plan, Sue.
Yeah, awesome. So I had no idea I was presenting this tonight. I didn't see an agenda. I didn't know about an agenda, sorry. But so Sarah and I had talked about doing like 100 meals for Thanksgiving. We kind of came up with a menu. Um, and Sarah was kind enough to get the turkeys. And how are you going to cook those, Sarah?
I'm gonna smoke it. Or the crock pot. It seemed to work well last year.
Okay, so we would look to our congregation to be donating sides. And we thought either mashed potatoes or maybe salt potatoes. That way you don't have to peel them and cook them. Look at Sue.
Sue's like, don't feed that to me. Not for Thanksgiving.
There's too many people with dietary restrictions that salt potatoes wouldn't be a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like
Salt is not good for people with blood pressure issues.
Right.
okay, so all right, so mashed potatoes it is. So mashed potatoes, gravy, roll and butter, green bean casserole.
Sue, I
And-
actually have a list that Jan gave me a couple years ago that her husband Ron, who used to run this, used. That it gives amounts and the menu that I will send to you.
Awesome. That would be so helpful. Thank you. So on our, we would ask the people who are calling our members to tell them about, the complimentary turkey dinners. We're asking for people to reserve, or let us know how many dinners they would like, say like by November 9th. And I think we were going to do this on November 15th. Does that sound
Sounds about right.
okay?
So this is a giveaway, right?
It
Correct.
is, yes. And we would also advertise it on Nextdoor. So it's an open invitation fellowship, to the community as well as our congregation. And we would plan on like trying to make 100 meals, and we would deliver them to the homebound.
So we also, just so that everyone knows, at the food drive, we handed out little flyers to people that came and donated with the information about this Thanksgiving dinner.
So what are you looking for from LT, Sue? You're looking for, if I remember from the conversation earlier, you're looking to inform us of what's going on, but you're also looking to get LT's help to make phone calls to members, right?
Right. Well, not just LT, but I could type up a little, blurb, and couldn't we give it to everyone who's making phone calls?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
she would-
sure how many people at this point are making phone calls, and I can check in with the phone call folks this week. I think there's only like 3 other people making phone calls outside of this team. Do you want that to be part of the? They won't get to everyone in the congregation if they do it that way, because the monthly callers are over a month rotation. So I didn't know if maybe you wanted, like, you want them called, right?
I want them what?
You want the congregation called,
Yes.
right? So I think it would be better if we were to just, with like the 6 of us, break up the congregation list and then just call them
And do the calling.
and just do the
Okay.
call. Yeah.
So we would be calling to make them aware that this is going on, to see if they have any orders, and also any food donation. And they would have to drop off, a food donation by or that morning on the 15th, I would say.
So it would be a prepared dish. It wouldn't be just like somebody dropping off some bags of stuffing or,
Please don't.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
Here's
Yeah.
5 boxes of stovetop.
Just making sure
That's-
that we're
that-
on the same
That was some
page.
good clarification there, though.
It was.
It's-
Thank you.
yeah.
But
Um,
will we also be putting it out on our email blasts?
sure. Yes.
And maybe, can we snail mail it to the people that have snail mail?
Yes. But what we found, like in the last two things that we've done here, is that when we've called people and said to them, "Hey, can you do this thing?" People are more apt to be like, "Oh yeah, sure," versus just sending out the snail mail, right? So when we said, "Hey, we've got this donation thing coming up. Can you bring stuff?" Folks are like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." Where if we're just sending something out, we're not getting a response. So I think that's why Sue wants to try that. Is like because she's noticed that we've gotten more of a response.
When we're asking that for a donation of a prepared side, are we keeping track of what we need and what we're getting?
Yeah, I would say if you get someone to donate something, my kids just whined at me. If you do get someone to donate, just shoot me an email or
Would it be easier to be like, all right, Amy, you're getting the potato people, and Sue, you're getting the stuffing people, and
I don't
Cheryl,
know,
you're
because
No, because now
Okay.
you're telling somebody what they have to make.
yeah,
Mind your business.
all right, y'all figure it
And
out.
if
However you
we're-
want to figure it out. Sorry.
Okay,
we're splitting up the calling, I mean, I might have people that like to make a pie and not 5 pounds of potatoes.
Right. Sorry.
okay, as
'Cause I'm not
someone,
making a pie.
Don't ask me to make a pie.
as someone who has nut allergies, I know some people put like walnuts or something in their stuffing. Can we make sure, and any pies, can we make sure that we specify no nuts?
Sure.
Yes, because the church is a nut-free zone anyway, isn't it?
Have you been to our church?
Well,
Full of nuts.
Okay, well, actually, the true nuts.
I say true nut. It's a true nut free zone. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't think so, because I think I've seen some kind of snack.
Oh no, we're not nut free because Shirley would always bring her almond ring, but
We're supposed to
that's
be.
why whenever I ask like for breads for the new people or any donations for desserts, I always say nut free, but the stuffing is not usually thought about because some people do put nuts in it.
Yeah. So I could just, type up a little blurb. This is what we need. Just email it to you guys. So when you're making the phone calls, and then if you could just report back to me so I can keep track of,
Jan and Cheryl, you're okay to do that? You're both very quiet.
What was that?
You're okay to make phone calls to help recruit folks for
Yeah,
Okay,
great.
so let's go on to the next discussion, town hall, and Sarah, you can take that one.
So this town hall meeting Wednesday. I was going to talk about this at the last LT meeting. Didn't happen. Knew we had to like get it moving in a direction. So sorry. So this town hall meeting Wednesday. I'll send slides out tomorrow, about kind of what it's going to look like. We're presenting on YouTube Live, which is the same format we have tonight, which is where there are folks will get a link, and the link will tell them to tune into a YouTube link. They'll be able to see us talking and presenting, but they won't be able to talk back. But they'll be able to comment in the comments, and we'll be able to answer any questions they have. So that it's a presentation of like, this is why we've made these decisions to do this. So here's what again, this whole like notion of just presenting the facts of like, here's what the COVID rates are. Here's what this is. Here's what this is. Here's what we're looking for to be able to open the building. So basically, the letter that was sent out, it's just a visual presentation of that letter, and a place for folks to ask questions of us. I don't know who's available for this or if anyone's available for this because it did get put on the calendar, and we didn't really talk about who was doing this.
So they're not going to be able to talk back to us?
Be able to, so if you were to go right now to the Facebook link, and I keep checking to see if anyone's asking any questions, there's a live chat. And they'll be able to ask questions in the live chat, right? So they won't be able to talk face to face. And mostly this is because trying to manage 50 people on WebEx, with like even the six of us managing the six of us on WebEx and having to have everyone muted and like, you know, people's faces are disappearing. It's just really difficult. And so this is the easiest way to present information and to be able to have them ask us questions without it getting out of hand or people's computers crashing or there being screeching noises. Or I've just been enough WebEx meetings now to know like this is the best way to do this, or at least try to do it this way.
Okay.
So they'll be able to type in questions. It just won't be it won't be like we're talking now.
That's fine.
So we will be online? Is that it? LT will be online
Correct.
Yeah.
like we are tonight.
Correct.
Okay.
Amy, you're on mute.
So it'll be like this, and then we'll be watching, somebody will be watching for questions, and then one of us will be answering, or how are we going to do this? Like, say that somebody asked this question, and then one of us will just pipe up and say, I can answer that, or
Yeah, so I think like I was gonna present on the information and then I was gonna let you all field the questions was kind of my thought. Because we talked about this enough. And if there's any like other questions I can present that. But my hope is that not my hope. Like when we send out the email link, we're also gonna send out the articles that I'm quoting to say like this is where the science is coming from. It's led us to make this decision. So that folks have that information. So if they have any like questions, we can just refer them back to the article. Like if you take a look at this article, that's where we're getting this information from. Yeah, and okay, I share screen and do this. Let me see here. This will be like some like weird thing here where we're looking at this thing, Sorry.
What time is this going to happen?
What time is what going to end, Cheryl?
6:30.
The
6
town
p.m.
hall.
6.
It starts at 6.
Okay.
So I'm sharing my screen here, and there's like a 7-second delay. So you'll see me talking on the one screen, and then you'll see me talking over here. And this is what it looks like. This is what the live screen looks like, right? And so up here in the corner here, there's this live chat. And so if anyone had a question to ask, they would ask the question here. And then I could say to you like, okay, so, you know, Sue Mahalik is asking, how effective are the filters in the cafe, right? Does anyone have a question to that? Or, you know, Sue Lyons-Minogue is asking when do we think we're going to reopen the building? Right. Somebody else is asked, so-and-so is asking, you know, can we come in if there's 15 of us that want to come in, we want to worship together, is that allowed? And so then we can like just address those questions as they come up.
And
So,
at the beginning, Sarah, will you be explaining to everyone how to do that? So that they know right from the beginning, if you have a question, please hit this.
correct. Yeah. And we're also, when we send out the letter, when we send out the link to everyone, we're going to explain. So nobody has any like going into this, any like confusion about what's actually happening. So like, yes, you can ask questions, but you have to type them in.
Anything else on this for anyone?
And then somebody has to be in the cafe because there are some folks that are coming in to the cafe to do that.
I'm not that good on the computer, so don't look at me.
How would we do it, Sarah, in the cafe? On YouTube?
Yeah, so you would go to the YouTube link, and whoever's in the cafe would be. Wow, I haven't thought this through. So I guess we'll have to do this differently for the cafe, right? So someone can go and start the live stream in the cafe, and then they could go into my office to be able to answer questions, or the main office to answer questions. Either one, I don't care. To be a panelist, right? And then those folks could, I don't know how any of their questions would be answered because they don't have the ability to chat.
Right.
Could someone have their laptop in the cafe and do it through their laptop?
What, like have them write down the question and then we would type it in?
Yeah. Those of you who are good at doing that.
I could we have? I think that might. I worry about the connectivity issues in the cafe. Trying to be able to to receive the live stream in the cafe isn't going to be a problem. God, I hope it's not going to be. I didn't even think about that. To receive the live stream in the cafe shouldn't be a problem. Like we shouldn't have any problem for people to be able to watch something on YouTube. And there's a couple of ways around that because we were live streaming in the parking lot. But to live stream, but to be able to get enough connectivity to be able to talk on the computer and live stream, we might not have that capability inside of the cafe. So I'm not sure that would work. But what would work would be if somebody wanted to call one of us on the phone with a question, and then I could be like, oh, okay, so Grace is one to be there. Like Grace has this question.
Or maybe if someone, whoever is there, maybe if they texted you instead of calling.
Are any of those folks that are in the texters?
No. They would give us the question and we would, whoever's at the cafe from LT would text you.
They could also text it. You could put it in the WebEx chat. 'Cause I don't think the WebEx chat shows up on the live stream. It doesn't.
Okay, I'm confused.
The chat that we see over here on our screen right now with the WebEx, this chat's not appearing on the live stream.
Yeah, but we're not using this. We're using YouTube, not WebEx.
Right, but what you're saying to me is if they gave some, so we're trying to figure out how the people in the cafe can ask questions, right? And I'm saying that connectivity issues, the person's going to probably have to be in the office or my office in order to be able to connect to the live stream.
Can't connect just on Wi-Fi?
I'm maybe. I mean, it's a big maybe. Like I don't know. We can try it. It would be really frustrating. I mean, we could try it. We could go.
Well, I know that the majority. We're out of time right now, but I know the majority of the time, whenever I try to connect to the church's Wi-Fi, I can't connect. But yeah. If I use, if I were to do it and take my iPad there and just connect using my data, I should be able to connect with no problem, right?
Yeah, we can also move we have Jill and Nick bought 1,000 yards or 500 yards of blue internet cable for us to be able to live stream from the parking lot this summer. So literally there was a blue cable running out of the church into the parking lot so we could live stream, which was super generous and gracious of them. We could take that cable and run that into the cafe, I can think of it, into the cafe, and have the Wi-Fi box in there, which should give enough boost of it to be able to be on one or the other, but I'm not sure if it's going to be able to run both. So If you think you can do that, Amy, I can see if I can get Nick to go in there and run that before tomorrow, before Wednesday.
So Amy, are you willing to go to church on Wednesday?
Yeah, I could go to church on Wednesday.
And so I guess the question is do we want the person who's at church to be someone who's answering questions, or do we want them to just be a person that's helped facilitating the group there? Like, do you want to also be like answering questions, or do you just want to be watching it on YouTube and asking questions into your iPad?
I'd probably rather be just asking questions, like typing people's questions in, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of questions that I'm not going to be able to answer myself.
Sure, I think that sounds best. So then we don't have to have competing trying to grab up the internet. So it would just be on YouTube versus on YouTube and WebEx, which sucks up a lot of bandwidth. Bandwidth is what I'm looking for.
Okay, so now we're running very late, but we're supposed to go to executive session now.
So when's the next? Let's just talk about when the next LT meeting date is, so that folks know when the next meeting date is.
Okay.
And just wanted to, before we close and go into executive session, just want to clarify. So Amy's going to go over on Wednesday and run that there. You have to go in 20 minutes beforehand and run the air filters. And I'll have Nick, I'll see if Nick can run the wireless router into the cafe for you so there's no problems. Okay.
But are Monday nights okay for everyone?
Usually,
Yeah,
How about Monday the 23rd?
isn't that
That's
just
That's right
Thanksgiving?
before Thanksgiving.
I can't do that.
Okay, the 16th. How about the 30th?
That should be okay for me.
What's wrong with the 16th?
it's okay for Cheryl.
It'll be okay for me too.
All right, well, then I'm not sure. I'll
Okay,
make-
so we'll do the 6:30. We'll do the Brene Brown and then the meeting.
Sue,
Yeah.
should I talk now about the vice moderator or,
Nope, we're not there.
No, yeah, we're going to go to executive session for that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, Sarah, take us
I'm
off
gonna
live.
Take us off of the live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight.